Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Just wrapping up today, a really good Monday practice, Tuesday format, but with done on Monday instead as we prepare for an opponent, real good opponent coming off a real big win. Certainly a rivalry game, the most important game, certainly because it's the next game and because of the rivalry that it is. And looking forward to a great week of practice and preparation. Questions, please.
First question goes to Julian Minnesone, KZI.
Mario, you kind of touched on it a little bit there about the rivalry, but given the fact that you have already played games without fans, but fans from both sides show out for this game, do you feel like you're going to notice it a little bit more this time around?
No, I think after the first couple of snaps, I think any football game, whether it's a packed stadium or whether it's an empty stadium, you're settled and you focus on the opponent. So I feel for the fans. I do. I just because you can feel the enthusiasm, the energy, the anticipation of games like this. You could just feel it, in the community and in our town, our city. But it is what it is. And either way, I know that our guys are really looking forward to the opportunity to play. A team is playing as well, a team that's coached as well, and coming off of a huge win as Oregon State.
Eric Scopel, 247 Sports.
I'll just open it up for the injury report, Mario. Update on Noah and the rest of those that missed the last couple games.
Yeah, Noah looks good. He practiced today and looks normal. Looks normal to me. So in terms of the other ones, the rest of the injuries probably the same as I can't recall exactly what we went over last time, but it's about the same as it was before. The one that really looked like he's now starting to get in a groove is Cam McCormick. So hopefully we have a complete full speed week with him and get him back and playing.
Rand Thorburn, register guard.
Mario, you've referenced several times how you're the youngest roster in the country. I'm wondering, with having 47 freshmen or redshirt freshmen, do you have to kind of explain the rivalry to them, or do you just approach it as a normal week and let them experience it?
Oh, you explain every detail of everything. That's a great question. I think the biggest mistake you could ever make as you coach a team is assume that everybody knows or assume that culture is going to automatically restart the following year. So, we have a couple of guys that really can take a deep dive into that and explain that to our team, and they're going to as the week goes on. They have been already. So, no, it's important for our guys to always understand the importance of a game like this while at the same time being completely focused on us getting better as a football team, improving technique-wise, fundamentally, schematically, all the things that can help us continue to become a better team.
James Creppy of the Oregonian.
All right, looking back on Saturday, defensively, tackling was a little bit of an issue again early and particularly late. And also when they went to tempo, just how do you go about correcting that, particularly against a team who's got a really talented running back in Jamar Jefferson?
I think all the things that make for great defense, technique, fundamentals, toughness, and discipline. We had some moments against tempo that hurt us and other ones where we looked a little bit better. But we practice it and feel like we got a good jump on all the issues that every week goes by on a Monday and a Tuesday, we certainly address and attack the issues that we had the previous week and feel really good about where we are right now.
Kevin Wade, 247 Sports.
Mario, you're one of just 4 Pac-12 teams that's been able to get 3 games in. As the season gets further on, has the protocols or the messaging to your players changed at all, as you guys are one of the few teams that have played all 3 games?
It's just relentless. It really is. It's as important as any play, any technique, any throw catch, any tackle sack. It's just as important, and you just can't take your foot off the gas for a single second. It is the way of life now, and it is enforced strictly. It is emphasized relentlessly, and will continue to do so because it's what's best for our players. It's what's best for our organization, and certainly, so far so good, but got a long ways to go, and we still got to get better and improve every single facet of the way we do things.
AJ Jacobson, Rivals.
Coach, looking at that RPO game on offense, it's been pretty effective this year. What would you say that in Coach Moorhead's implementation of that has added to this offense?
I think the coaching of the quarterback position and the clarity to be able to make those snap decisions, the fractions of seconds, right, is what we're looking at. I think the advancement in that room between Coach Moorhead and all the quarterbacks has paid dividends. It really has. And it's led to us being able to open up the offense to some things that are really helping us on Saturdays. And it's like, it's still a work in progress, and there's still a lot left in that playbook that we're continuing to add. And the players are handling it really well. They seem to handle volume, particularly well at that position group. So we're excited to see what's to come here in the coming weeks.
Matt Preem, 247 Sports.
Mario, you stressed the importance of being balanced. In the run game, though, against UCLA, you were not very good. I guess, what do you guys do to fix that and make sure that doesn't come up again in the future games?
Well, I mean, running the football is about technique, fundamentals, toughness, grit, and you stick with it, and you may have to take a few negative runs before you pop a 50-yard or a 60-yard run. And when you play a defense that stacks the box like them and brings as much pressure as them, you got to live with the fact that you may not have a great day, but at the same time know that you're going to open up things for the passing game. And look, one thing is, I may be a little bit stubborn or a lot stubborn, but I also never at the expense of the team and the success and the progress of the team. And if there's opportunities for us to score or move the ball, both. Because of an overloaded box, because of a disadvantage in a situation when we have to run the ball, and we've got the right guys to throw it, and we certainly have the right guys that can catch and make something happen. So balance is always, the key. We do have to be able to run the ball in those when we're outnumbered in a loaded box. We do have to be able to run the ball against pressure, and we have. And, it's certainly something that we take a lot of pride in, and we look forward to getting better at.
Dylan Reuben King, Duck TV.
Coach, speaking about the run game and that UCLA pressure, on Saturday after the game, you said that your offensive line had to do some things that they hadn't quite done before. In the first 2 weeks, they hadn't really seen a team that moved around pre-snap like the Bruins did. How do you think that your offensive line handled it, and what did you learn about your group going forward?
Well, I don't think the pre-snap movement caused any or not many identification issues. I think the play of a couple of their linemen and some of the post-snap stuff affected us some, but angles, hat position, landmarks, hand placement were probably more the things to look at and analyzing, and going back and looking at the game that will continue to need improvement to continue making progress towards the offense we want to be.
Jerry Thompson, Ducks Illustrated.
Yeah, I had an observer, pretty knowledgeable one, who watched the offensive lines on both teams. And I don't know if you would agree with this, but he said, offensive linemen get away with holding every game, but it seemed like UCLA got away with a lot of holding. I don't know if you can even comment on that, but did you observe anything extraordinary there?
Being a former offensive lineman, I can honestly say offensive linemen never, ever hold, never have held before. So that would be my comment on that.
Julian Minnesone, KZI.
Mario, I wanted your thoughts on this Oregon State defense, in particular, the very, very talented linebacker core that they've got with Rashid and Spates and Roberts over there, and what kind of problems that they could pose for you guys.
Yeah, they're active and they're physical. They're downhill. Certainly last year they gave us plenty of issues. We didn't move the ball well on the ground, or didn't throw it very well. They are very talented in terms of setting edges, of playing off of blocks, shedding blocks. They cover really well. They're really long at corner, active at safety, downhill. They take good angles. They do a really good job, clawing at the ball and trying to knock it out. I think up front they play with some power, and I think on the edges and inside they're very active in pass rush as well. And they've done a good job collapsing pockets. Maybe there's some times where you say, well, their sack numbers are decent, or sometimes they're not where they need to be. But what we watch on tape is the integrity of the pocket. And when you watch Oregon State's defense, they are consistently challenging the integrity of the pocket. and causing issues for opponent quarterbacks. And well, as you saw in the last play of the game last week, or the next to last play, that pressure and then bringing pressure off the edge and obstructed throwing lanes caused a tip pass and interception, and the game was over. So they do a really good job.
Eric Scopel.
Really impressed with Hunter Moer on Saturday, and especially in the second half in the passing game. Kind of almost looked like a different player, at least when we saw last year. Kind of speak to the progress there and kind of how he maybe changes that position group for you guys.
Hunter's a grinder, and he's a really good athlete. Remember, he played defensive line at about 280 pounds, but was a tight end in high school, or played some tight end in high school. And we've been seeing it. We've been seeing it in practice. Obviously, he had to, he missed a couple of weeks. And but we always felt that when he was back that he was going to pick up right where he left off in practice. So I think a lot of stuff that you don't get to see is his impact and blocking is tremendous. I mean, he really he plays with power. He understands angles extremely well. He's certainly someone, and that tight end group just in general, especially hoping that and I feel confident we'll have a great week with Cam. We feel we have one of the better tight end groups around.
Rand Thorburn.
Mario, this is the third time you've competed against Jamar Jefferson. He's obviously off to a phenomenal start this season. What makes him so hard to deal with?
Well, he's got everything the great backs have. It starts with great vision, and then you go and start talking about his speed, his power, his explosiveness. He sets up blocks really, really well. He can make you miss. He could run over you. He could run through you. He's effective out of the backfield, catching the football. He blocks really, really well. He's got an excellent offensive line. I know their offensive line coach extremely well, and they play with power and tremendous discipline. And well, you saw first play of the game last week, right? Right to that. I think it was a 65-yarder where he was great blocking up front, but he used them. He kept on his landmark. He set up some great blocks, and the tight ends who can't tell you how impressed I am with their tight ends and the way those guys have developed into complete players as blockers and pass catchers. So I think he himself, with the gifts that he has, plus the scheme and the supporting cast, make for a really challenging offense to stop.
James Crepia.
Mario, to the untrained eye, the snaps offensively appeared to flutter a bit this past week, weren't quite as crisp as even the week before. Can you just evaluate whether or not you thought there was either an issue there or just something to be cleaned up technically there?
I think more cleaned up. I mean, a couple might have been a hair slow, but overall, we've been pretty much on point with the snaps.
Matt Preem.
I know maybe statistically Adrian Jackson doesn't have a lot of tackles, but can you maybe just speak to just his impact, and whether it's dime or regular packages of on your defense and that you're seeing from him?
Well, he's gotten a few snaps, and certainly he's working on technique. Both playing the run and becoming a pass rusher. He's a very gifted guy who we are going to continue challenging him to get more out of him. We want him to be a complete player, and just to be a guy that can really impact us in a couple of different ways, both on defense and on special teams. So we're working with him. He's accepted the challenge, and we expect him to continue to progress and improve and help our defense.
AJ Jacobson.
Coach, here you are hot and heavy in the middle of a football season as a coach. You also have this Thanksgiving thing. How much this week is the same and how much is different, with your focus here on football?
Well, it's all football. It's all football. It's just I honestly, you realize the blessings that you have, and the fact that you're surrounded by such awesome people. But you just made me stop and think about the fact that it actually is Thanksgiving. So will the routine change? No. It's you just move all the days a day up. Like your Thursday is really your Friday. So it's the night before the game when you have your meetings and your walkthroughs at night, before you travel the next day. And even though it's right down the road, it's still technically, you're going away, you're traveling. So there won't be any, I would say, changes in a normal schedule. Maybe the the menu might be different at the house. I'll check and see with the wife, see what she has in store later.
Eric Scopel.
Camden, unfortunately, another rough miss there. What have you seen from him in practice? Is it different from practice to the game? And you said last week you'll continue to roll with whoever's best in practice. Do you foresee that still being Camden this week?
Yeah, and I said it after the game because you got to call it like it is, all right? Because I have a lot of faith and belief in Cam. He was disappointed with his performance. Certainly weren't happy with it, but he had earned the right to kick that game. And so with that competition is open for the week, and the guys have a chance to battle and see who wins that job. And it's wide open, and everyone's real clear. Whoever gets the best chance by the way they kick is the guy that's going to play. So that was opened up today, opened up again tomorrow, the day after that, and then we'll make a decision from there. So, but we're the operation here is about, continue to help guys improve, progress. Especially when a guy's working at it really, really hard. We know the disappointment. I don't harp on it. It's, we're in a performance-driven industry, right? So we gotta get it done. We gotta improve, and anyone that's trying hard will always have our support, and we make decisions on whoever's best for the position.
Julia Lobiana, K-Val.
Coach, you mentioned in your opening statement that OSU is obviously coming off a big game. Tristan Gebbia has gained more of his confidence back. So what are your thoughts on his performance and your assessment for him coming into Friday?
Well, he just has complete command of the offense right now. You see him at the line of scrimmage, putting them in advantage plays, checking out of potentially bad plays. Certainly just understanding where the pressure is coming from, when he's protected, when he's got to get rid of it. Very, very accurate, very disciplined, carries out his fakes extremely well. And their offense is challenging, because of, the way that they use their tight ends, the talent of their wide receivers. They, between their run game, their play action, and their shots down the field, their screen game, the way they can stretch hit you with a quick game. He understands every single bit of it. And I think he's a great quarterback. We all do. Certainly props to him. We look forward to the challenge.
Ashley Adamson, Pac-12 Network.
Hey, Coach. I know none of the CFP rankings obviously matter until the final one, but any thoughts on where you think you'll be tomorrow when that first one comes out, or do you talk to your guys or address the noise that inevitably comes with the CFP rankings?
Well, honestly, Ashley, we do. We addressed it in this manner. We didn't play our best football on Saturday. So there shouldn't be a single person in this organization that's interested with tomorrow. That all takes care of itself. Whoever takes care of their business throughout the season, it will show at the end of the year in the CFP ranking. So our complete focus and attention is on us getting better and our opponent this upcoming week. So that's the way it was addressed, as a matter of fact. And quite honestly, before I even got to the locker room, because I'm not as fast as some of these other guys, and I got to handle some stuff. The players were already in that mindset, all focus on taking care of our business and improving as a team.
Last question, James Kripia.
All right, one guy that we had not gotten an update on previously that was out, or not available on Saturday, was Dante Manning, and it's seen JR working with the corners. Is that move by JR permanent for the rest of the season, and is Dante unavailable this week?
Dante is questionable right now. He's working. He's close. Minor nick on him. And we expect him back either this week or soon after. I'm hopeful that he will be ready this week. J.R. Waters in high school played both corner and wide receiver. Always felt he had a chance due to the fact that, some of our receivers are playing good football, and that we're probably not as deep in the secondary. We want to give him a look, and he did a really good job, and did a good job today as well. So credit to JR for being unselfish and trying to help the team the best way that he can.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. If I don't see you, everybody, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know how Thanksgiving actually is in the real world. Okay.